In the news tonight, Cardinal Arinze to lead Catholic Church to honor Governor Obiano and 2 others for promoting social harmony. Today is International Day of Persons with Disability. Inspector General of Police Idris deploys 2,000 police personnel to Northeast to fight terrorism. And on the foreign scene, U.S. coalition targets ISIL leader in Syria over killing of American aid worker. Good evening and thanks for joining us on ABS Television News. I am Franklin Onyekachi. Now the news in details. History will be made on Saturday, December 8, as Francis Cardinal Arinze, Prefect Emeritus of the Congregation for Divine Worship and Discipline of the Sacraments at the Vatican, will lead a pontifical mass preceding special awards by the Catholic Church to Governor Willie Obiano of Anambra State and 2 leading Anglicans in the state, Chief Obi Ademora and Barrister Chidi Amambo. The event will take place at the Christ the King Parish, Umwezawala Ihiala, according to the chairman of the planning committee, Professor Chuka Chukube of the University of Lagos, and the secretary, architect Martin Nwabineli, who runs a leading indigenous building firm based in Lagos, and will be chaired by engineer Edwin Enwebara, a hydrologist and former president of the Nigerian Water Association. A statement from planning committee stated that the 3 persons are being recognized for working for the good of all in the society, regardless of social differences, noting that the whole nation is proud of how Governor Obiano led Anambra State to give former Vice President Alex Ekwueme a most befitting funeral, which lasted for days early this year, despite the fact that they belong to different political parties. And Dr. Ekwueme's first child, Barrister Chidi Ekwueme Onyemelukwe, was the deputy governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, in the November 17, 2017 governorship election. The statement noted that the governor conducted his campaign with dignity, compelling other candidates to toe his line of peaceful conduct, thereby making Anambra the first state in Nigeria's history to conduct such a major election without incidents of violence before and during the elections, and even after the result was declared, in which Obiano won overwhelmingly in each of the 21 local government areas of the state. It pointed out that for the first time in the history of Anambra State, candidates of the major political parties accepted a gubernatorial election result and went on to congratulate the winner in writing, while leading members of the opposition parties, including gubernatorial candidates in the election who contested against the governor, were present at Chief Obiano's second inauguration on March 18, 2018. The statement revealed that Ademora, an entrepreneur and philanthropist, heard informally that Cardinal Arinze had no vehicle when he was retiring as prefect for the Congregation of the Divine Worship and Discipline of Sacraments in Rome, and quietly bought him a brand new Prado SUV, despite the fact that Chief Ademora has never been a Catholic and had never had contact with the Cardinal up to the time he donated the vehicle, and is being honored for reflecting ecumenism in truth and spirit. The statement further explained that Barrister Amambo has been assisting Ihiala people and churches without publicity, including constructing a public road and awarding several scholarships, as well as assisting the needy generally without knowing the beneficiaries. It's observed that Cardinal Arinze is a highly respected global citizen, but he is ever conscious of his Nigerian roots and one of the greatest brands Anambra and Nigeria have ever produced and exported. The international community is observing today as a day of persons living with disabilities. We have details.
By the United Nations since 1992, the day aims at promoting and understanding issues relating to disability and mobilizing support for dignity, rights, and well-being of persons living with such. It also seeks to increase awareness on gains to be derived from the integration of persons living with disabilities in every aspect of political, social, economic, and cultural life. The wife of the governor, Dr. Mrs. Ebelechukwu Obiano, reassured on commitment towards building a brighter future for physically challenged persons. In his reaction, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Social Welfare, Children and Women Affairs, Dr. Azuka Ofomata, thanked Governor Obiano for giving physically challenged persons a sense of belonging.
A lot of equipment in the disabled Enwero. Omel the approval. Away with Jelova. And to coming together like we have come is beginning. Coming together is the beginning. Keeping together is progress. And when we work together is success. Thank you.
Speaking on the significance of the day, the Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on Disability Matters, Barrister Chuks Ezewuzie, said that they have a week-long event to commemorate the day, which focuses on the different aspects of the needs of the disability community, and described Chief Willie Obiano as a governor who have passion for people living with disabilities. Barrister Ezewuzie revealed that the wife of the state governor, Dr. Mrs. Ebelechukwu Obiano, has already kicked off the week-long event with the distribution of wheelchairs to over 100 disabled persons in the state, and commended her for giving about 2,000 persons artificial limbs.
Few days ago, just last week, over 300 people were measured.
The state chairman of the Joint National Association of Persons Living with Disabilities, Comrade Ugochukwu Okeke, said that this year's event focuses on empowering persons living with disabilities, ensuring inclusiveness and equality.
The Vicar of the Anglican Church of the Holy Spirit, Oka, Reverend Canon Dr. Rex Kano, has urged Christians to prepare for the second coming of Christ. Reverend Canon Kano, who stated this in a sermon to mark the Advent Sunday, said that those who remain steadfast in prayers, eschew sins, and engage in the work of Christ will be called the sons of Christ. We have details.
The vicar maintained that Christians should reflect the light of God in all their dealings so as to keep away darkness. Reverend Canon Kano pointed out that those fellowshipping or interacting with cultists and other associations that are not of God are in darkness, noting that if all should live in the light of God and remain firm in faith, especially during this election period, the nation will witness free and fair elections devoid of rancor, bitterness, nor imposition of candidates and talks.
Not imposing candidates, not imposing candidates and the media running over us. And we will continue to live as people without, as sheep without a shepherd. God wants to shepherd us and is calling us to come out and live in the life that has given. If that is done, we shall enjoy the world that gave us. God said, let there be light, and there was light. Let that light continue to shine, that we may have joy, eternal joy in Him who has made us.
At St. Francis of Assisi, Oka, a visiting priest, Reverend Father Venatus Obuago, in his homily stressed the need to sing praises to God for His goodness, mighty deeds, and compassionate heart.
Number 7, God inhabits praises. God dwells in the praises of His people. Psalm 22 verse 10. God inhabits in praise.
Meanwhile, the priest in residence, Anglican Church of Resurrection, Amobia, Reverend Prince Chukudum, has called on Christians to ensure their faiths are focused on the will of God. Reverend Chukudum stressed the need for showing appreciation, gratitude, and thanksgiving to God, always calling on all to invest where their wealth will not perish.
Operatives of the Anambra State Police Command have raided a commercial sex brothel at Enugu and apprehended some underage workers and other suspects. This action followed a joint petition by the Enugu Traditional Authority and Enugu Community Development Union to the Oka headquarters of the Nigerian police, alleging that road users along Ring Road, Enugu, were being harassed and embarrassed by underage commercial sex workers. During the raid, it was observed that the operators had used plywood to construct the brothel, a shelter attached to a perimeter fencing between a family compound and which contained a foam used for the illicit sex business. The brothel was sealed immediately after the raid, while the suspect's third commercial sex workers and those patronizing them were taken to police headquarters, Oka. The raid was supervised by the President General of Enugu Community Development Union, Comrade Bonnie Ozo, with the help of Urukwe village youths. Honorable Ozo called on parents to take more interest in the activities of their children and warned that Enugu community has no place for such illegal acts, which breeds criminality and corruption of the morals of children, noting that people of Enugu are known for their industry and enterprise and live very decent lives and are law-abiding, warning that the community will not tolerate such businesses. He alleged that most of the commercial sex workers and their patrons are not in the Enugu and will not be allowed to soil the name of the town. The 2018 Press Week of the Nigerian Union of Journalists, Anambra State Council, has ended in Awka. The program, which was tagged a success by participants, featured series of capacity-building lectures from some professionals in journalism and academic field. Correspondent Valentine Badowa was there and now reports.
Speaking during the closing ceremony at Godwin Ezemo International Press Center, Awka, the NUJ chairman, Anambra Council, Sir Emmanuel Ifesinachi, while expressing satisfaction over the conduct of journalists, especially within the state, noted that the just concluded program will impact positively on the participants, both in character and in learning. The chairman on the occasion, Mr. Okechukwu Nwobi, who is the acting registrar, Anambra State College of Health Technology, Obosi, had earlier commended the union for organizing such events, urging journalists to stick to the ethics of the profession for improved reportage.
Unity of the nation is collective responsibility. Journalists in this state are ready to ensure that peace will reign. Anambra State has been the light of the nation. We have been peaceful, and I don't expect anything less than that.
Delivering a lecture on the topic, the media and quest for relevance, the role of journalists, the guest lecturer, Sachuk Annabife, noted that the media has a vital role in the society, stressing that journalists need to improve to meet the socio-economic and political demands of the 21st century societies.
To make a convincing case and develop properly designed initiatives, we need to understand the status of press freedom in the world today, including the factors that militate for and against an open media.
In a remark, the Nigerian Union of Journalists, ABS SAPU chairman, Mrs. Ngozi Obileri, assured that the union is bent on improving journalism within the state, as more capacity building programs will be organized to help re-equip journalists on the best practices to improve their reportage.
We should always keep our eyes on the ball, be focused, report stories that are facts, not sensational reports. As we come for the press week, let us go out better than we were, and then real practice the main profession.
Some of the participants, including Michael Augustine and Isaac Ibabuchi, both of the Mass Communication Department, Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Awka, while commending the union for the program, noted that being part of the event has given them a sense of belonging, assuring to make positive impact as they are now better informed. From Godwin Ezemo International Press Center, Awka, Valentine Mbadewa reporting for ABS News.
The Inspector General of Police, IGP Ibrahim Idris, has announced the deployment of 2,000 police personnel to the northeast to join the military in the fight against terrorism. Idris said the corps, drawn from the police, mobile force, and counter-terrorism units, were deployed alongside sniffer dog sections purely for military duties under the Operation Lafia Dole, have already arrived Borno State. The IGP, who made this known in a statement, said the deployment was in line with Section 4 of the Police Act and regulations, which specifies the general duties of the Nigerian police force. He said the police would do all it takes to collaborate with the military to end the counter-insurgency war in the shortest possible time. Churches have been charged to get back to the ideology entrenched by the early missionaries. A Pentecostal Archbishop, Dr. Ikem Anoere, made the call during an empowerment of widows by the Dorcas Foundation International held at the ABS headquarters, Awka. Amaka Chibuzo Koye filed the reports.
Which has been in existence for many years, always empowers the widows, orphanage and the poor to put smiles in their faces. Dr. Anuhere lamented that churches and ministries no longer recognize the poor and widows in their midst because of quest for material wealth, stating that the church should support them, especially in raising up their children.
Today's churches and ministries, the widows and the poor are not involved at all. If you know on one of them, then why do unfortunately
Another Pentecostal bishop, Dr. Herbert Richard, called for reforms in church activities, more especially as it concerns widows, stating that all should sacrifice to those in need so as to be successful in life.
When there are issues in the family, issues that should attract or warrant liberation prayers and so on and so forth, decide to release a sacrifice. Send it in the direction of the widows, send it in the directions of the poor, send the directions of the fatherless. You will see what will happen.
Also speaking, Apostle Gabriel Sapele said that love is better demonstrated than said, pointing out that Dorcas Foundation have shown true love to the widows, calling for more support so as to touch more lives. In his opening remarks, the chairman on the occasion, Comrade Don Onyenji, said the coordinator of the program has since been touching lives as part of evangelism, calling on the affluent members of the society to support her to broaden the program. In a welcome address, the coordinator of Dorcas Foundation International, Reverend Evangelist Nkechi Mbanugo, disclosed that the foundation is poised to maintain smiles on people's faces, provide succor especially to the downtrodden, and economically empower them.
Today's outing is a major activity, and we implore your indulgence to partner with her, especially on the way of touching people's lives. For whatsoever that you have give or will give will be distributed evenly to God's praise and glory in Jesus' name.
In Oka, Amaka Chibuzokoye, ABS News.
And now on the foreign scene, Coalition Fighting ISIL says it carried out a raid against a senior leader involved in executing U.S. aid worker. The U.S.-led Coalition Fighting ISIL says it carried out air raids in Syria targeting a senior leader involved in the execution of American aid worker Peter Kasig and other prisoners. Sean Ryan, spokesperson for the U.S.-led coalition, said that coalition forces carried out precision strikes against Abu al-Umarian, a senior member of the Islamic State of Iraq and Levant group ISIL, also known as ISIS, as well as several other members of the group in Syria's Badiyan Desert. According to Ryan, al-Umarian has given indications of posing an imminent threat to coalition forces, and he was involved in the killing of American citizen and former U.S. Army Ranger Peter Kasig. There was no immediate comment from ISIL's Ryan, said the U.S.-led coalition was continuing to remove key figures from ISIL ranks through air raids. Kasig, aged 26 at the time of his death, was among a group of prisoners decapitated by ISIL in November 2014. His execution, along with other killings, was shown in a video released by the group. The footage did not show Kasig's beheading, but showed a masked man with a decapitated head covered in blood at his feet. The apparent executioner, British national Mohammed Mwazi, also known as Jihadi John, was killed in a coalition air raid in 2015. Kasig, also known as Abdul Rahman, a name he took after converting to Islam in captivity, was abducted on his way to the Syrian city of Deir al-Zor on October 1, 2013. He founded a humanitarian organization in 2012 that trained some 150 civilians to provide medical aid to people in Syria. His group also gave food, cooking supplies, clothing, and medicine to the needy. Family members and friends have paid their last respects as the remains of late Mr. Stephen Nwankwo were laid to rest over the weekend at his country home, Ifite Village, Nanka, Orumba North Council area. He passed on at the age of 81. Correspondent Emmanuel Chibata completes the story.
The burial service was well attended by members of the clergy, in-laws, friends and well-wishers who testified that late Mr. Nwankwo was a devout and compassionate Christian who had served God and humanity throughout his lifetime. Delivering a homily during a requiem mass at St. Anthony's Catholic Church, Nanka, the officiating priest, Reverend Father Emma Ofomata, who reiterated the utmost importance of working together with Christ while on earth, affirmed that every individual have a specific time to spend, adding that death is inevitable for all mortals, while extolling the virtues of the deceased as a great icon and advocate of righteousness, as well as lover of truth. Reverend Ofomata, who called on Christians to live a life of holiness, said that every individual must give account of stewardship to the Creator, adding that man must be judged according to what he has done on earth.
Only the pure, only the can see. Sunday I am an eyesight the watch but Jesus is there, helping us there. By making with that purity that stands on here. And when I hear through the merits of this Mass, when you are in
While commiserating with the family of the deceased, the traditional ruler of Nanka, Igwe Godwin Ezilo, and some friends and in-laws to the family, including Mr. Shinedu Ezonwebu, Mr. Oji Ukebu, Engineer Dominic Okafo, and Mr. Shuka Agba, described the deceased as a man who worked assiduously and adhered seriously to community development, advising the family of the bereaved to take solace in good life that their father lived, even as they also prayed God to give them the fortitude to bear the irreparable loss.
Na ndụ nwoke bili n'ụwa ahụ Steven na ndụ ya mara ezigbo mma and otu ọnwa ka ndụ ụmụ ya dịkwa ka Chineke mee ka ụmụ ya sorokwa ọkpụrụ nke ọ gbadoro ozigbo ọkpụrụ nke ọ gara ka ha nwee ike iketakwa alaeze n'eluigwe.
My advice for the family is to continue the good works and legacy of the great Obidigbo, and this is the opportunity for them to even improve the brotherly and sisterly relationship amongst them, and also look after their mom.
In their separate speeches, the wife and children of the deceased, Mrs. Virginia Nwankwo, Mr. Cosmas Nwankwo, and Mrs. Chinwe Ukebu, expressed gratitude to those who contributed in giving their father a befitting burial, assuring that the unity and love their father left them will continue to exist, and prayed God to rest his soul in perfect peace.
As Catholics, we believe in praying for the dead. So my prayer is that if he hasn't made it in heaven, that our prayers will make him to overcome the remaining obstacles so that he will be in heaven.
My only prayer for him is that Lord will grant him eternal rest, so that where he will stay with angels.
The burial ceremony witnessed dance and condolence visits from friends and well-wishers. From Ifitenanka in Orumba North Council area, I am Emmanuel Shibata reporting for ABS News.
That report concludes our news bulletin for tonight, but remember that you can follow news and programs on ABS from any part of the world by logging on to our website at www.absradiotv.com. Like us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/ABSRadioTelevision. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at ABS Radio TV. And just before we go, another look at the top stories. Cardinal Arinze to lead Catholic Church to honor Governor Obiano and two others for promoting social harmony. Today is International Day of Persons with Disability. Inspector General of Police Idris has deployed 2,000 police personnel to Northeast to fight terrorism. And on the foreign scene, we told you that U.S. coalition has targeted ISIL leader in Syria over killing of American aid worker. And that's the news. Thanks for watching. I am Franklin Onyekachi, wishing you do have a pleasant night rest.